everyone, welcome back to my channel if you are new here. My name is Anna and I live in Seattle, Washington in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. And this is a channel all about knitting and crafts. And for this video, I'm going to talk to you all about everything that I worked on in the month of September, some projects that I finished up, projects that I've been working on, and then some fun little plans for October, which I think which I would love you to join me in. So I'll talk about that a little later on in the video, but I'm planning a little very informal knit along for us. So if you would like to hear more about that, stick around. And yeah, thanks for watching. Thank you for being here. If you are new, it's great to have you. If you're a returning viewer, also great to have you. I just love talking about my knitting with my friends on the internet. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, so hope you're doing great. Hope you're enjoying the transition into fall if you're in the northern hemisphere like me. And if you're in the southern hemisphere, hope you're enjoying the transition into spring. I do love the transition from winter into spring, but I also love fall. There's just something so special about transitional seasons. I do say fall, but we had a record high here in Seattle today. It was quite warm actually, so and it hasn't started raining yet, so I'm starting to get a little antsy for the cooler fall weather, but it will come in time and I'm sure it will last all winter long. So I have to enjoy this beautiful temperate weather while it lasts. I am in my backyard today. Actually, I have a big porch off of my bedroom and kitchen. There's some doors off here at our house, and I'm just sitting in this lovely rocking chair in my porch. So I hope this is fun for you. I'm hoping to capture some light before it runs away because it's getting dark pretty quickly and earlier now that we're going into fall, but yes. Okay, enough rambling. Let's just get started. So I have one finished object for you this month, and that's all, but that's okay because I really like it and I'm really happy with it. So my finished object for the month is my Amy slipover, which is a pattern by Sundance Garn. This is what it looks like, and this is what the fabric looks like up close. I knit this with one strand of Drops Kid Silk Mohair in their dark brown color, and then I held that with one strand of dark brown merino wool, 100% merino wool that is recycled. So I got it from, it used to be another sweater. I bought it, unraveled it, and have reknit it into this. I'm going to put it on for you so you can see it a little bit. So pardon me while I shift my sound around. Okay, I hope you can hear me okay. This is what she looks like. Very happy with it. I think in the last one I was a little bit worried about the length, but it actually turned out really nice. Here, this is like the top of my jeans. You can see right here the waist of this jeans, and these are not super high-waisted jeans, so it does come to a nice length in the front. I do find that it does kind of pull up in the back, so sometimes I feel like I'm adjusting it, but I think it's a nice length. I love the ties. I think they're so cute, and I just love the fabric. I'll give you another look at it. It's so nice. I like that the mohair core kind of gives it a little bit of a marley look. Super pretty. And this big, super cozy turtleneck, which I can wear folded out, but I wore this the other day at work and I preferred it folded in like this because I found when it was folded out it was kind of flopping around. It's really loose, which I like, so it's not like super tight on my neck, but it is really warm. Ooh, got mohair in my mouth. Okay, so I did make some modifications to this that I'll talk you through. By the way, this is a pattern from Sundance Garn. It's from their Mixed Dame, or their Soft for Women pattern book, which came out in the spring. I think it came out in February actually, and it had lots of spring patterns in it. But I've been knitting from this all year long. I'm knitting another pattern from it that I'll talk to you about in a minute. It's a really great pattern book, and they've kind of taken some patterns from that pattern book and expanded it for larger side ranges. Like there's the Frankie Genser, which you may have seen, that Sundance Garn has like put out a whole book of different styles for that one, and then they just brought out more styles and like gauges of another sweater I'm going to talk about. So that's really great patterns in that book. I found it really inspiring. I've knit now three full finished objects from that. I have one work in progress and I have another one that I'm planning to make. So 5 patterns out of one book is pretty good for me, I think. So yeah, so my modifications, I did pretty much everything to pattern on the body, like the stockinette sections, except the neck. So in the original pattern, I'll come closer so you can see. In the original pattern, the collar is even wider. And I looked at a lot of people's projects on Instagram for this and on Ravelry. And the original pattern, the collar is like all the way out to this textured section. So when I went to pick up for the front, I didn't like how wide that collar was. I didn't love the way that it looked. So I ended up picking up more stitches. There we go. So you knit the back flat, and then when you pick up for the front, you do each side separately. I picked up, I think, probably 10 more stitches so that this band here was a little bit wider on mine. So you can see the join is right here. Not sure how well you can see, but yeah, here, it's focusing on my face. So this section right here on mine is a little bit wider than in the pattern. And then you do the increases, and then everything else on the front is knit to pattern. The collar I knit to pattern as far as like number of stitches, but I did, I went one size down for the first half of the ribbing, and then I did the size up on the second half of the ribbing, which I did because I didn't want, I find often when you do like a long turtleneck like this and you knit it all in the same ribbing tension, I'm gonna flip this around, it can have a tendency to like shrink in and you get a lot of this underneath ribbing showing, and I don't like the look of that. So I went up a needle size for the top half of it so that it would lay a little bit more, sorry, I'm looking at myself in the viewfinder, so that it would lay a little bit nicer if I fold it out. I think now that I realize I like it folded in better, that modification wasn't super necessary, but I do like that it just gives it a little bit of a looser, more relaxed fit around the neck. And you can't really tell the difference in gauge between this part of the ribbing and this part of the ribbing. So yeah, that's what I did on the ribbing. And then the only other modification that I made is that these bands I did a little bit wider, or a little bit more narrow. So in the pattern it has you knit I think to 5 centimeters, and I did like 3.5 just because I didn't want it like super over my shoulder. I don't like that look for a slip over. I wanted it, I wanted it to fit a little closer on the shoulders. And I just did a regular bind off on the ribbing. It called for an Italian, and this is like over 400 stitches. I was not Italian binding off over 400 stitches, especially because the cast on here, I'm gonna untie this so you can see. The cast on, so you can see that the cast on, you can't tell in mine, you can't really tell which was the cast on edge and the cast off edge, because basically you cast on along one edge, pick up stitches around the body, and then cast on more. And in the pattern it has you do one side of those. Come on. It has you do one side in the cast on and then one side in Italian bind off, and I felt like if I did that it wouldn't match as nicely, so I just did a regular bound off and pattern, and it's plenty stretchy, and I feel like it just looks a little bit nicer. I think it would have been nice to do the Italian around the arms so it would be a little less floppy, but I didn't want to have to transition from doing a normal bind off to an Italian bind off, not back to a normal bind off. I thought that would be kind of complicated, so I did not do that. And I really like the way that it looks. Super cozy, super warm. I love the look of it. I love the feel of it. It's a really good transitional piece. I was wearing this at work the other day with like a white button-up shirt underneath that was pretty thin, and it's like, it was warm outside, but it was kind of cool inside with the air conditioning, and so I was really comfortable, and it was good for temperature regulation because there's like all this space at the sides that your hot air can escape, and then this can keep you nice and snuggly warm. So yes, I'll give you one last look, and I'll put a picture of me wearing it in, but yes, this is my Amy slipover. I'm really happy with it. I like it a lot. I feel like I'll be getting a good amount of wear out of this winter. I think it'll be really nice over dresses. My problem with slipovers over dresses is that they're like too long. If I wear them with jeans, it's fine, but I think I need a really cropped slipover for wearing with dresses, and I think this will work better because of the side openings. It'll look a little bit more balanced. So yes, that is my first finished object of the month, my Amy slipover. I'm really happy with it. It's knit a pretty fine gauge, but I do feel like it knit pretty quickly. Although these straps, the first one took me a couple of days, the second one I did in one day, so I was just ready to be done, I think. But yeah, that is my Amy slipover. I'm really happy with it. Even though it's my only finished object for this month, I'm really pleased with it, and I love it. It's great. Can't wait to wear it all fall. Okay, I'm gonna take this off now, and I'm gonna put on my first work in progress. So pause. Okay, costume change is complete. I have to find somewhere to hook this. I'll just hook it right there. Okay, so this is my first work in progress. This will get sewn down, by the way. This is a folded collar that I haven't sewn down yet, but that's how it will look when it's finished. This is the Guernsey Cancer, Guernsey sweater from the Sydness Garn pattern booklet. Here's what it looks like. I finished the body almost, and I'll explain that in a minute. But it has all these fun textures. So you get seed stitch at the top, then you have these cables, and each section is kind of divided by these little welts. You've got a double seed stitch or a moss stitch. You've got these kind of braided cables with a little bit of purl bumps, and then you have the 2x2 ribbing, which is the ribbing of choice for this pattern. So as you can see, I finished the body, and I just barely picked up for the first sleeve. I have not cast off the bottom ribbing yet, and that is because this sweater I'm knitting out of reclaimed yarn. So this was a sweater, I think it was an Eddie Bauer sweater that had quite a few holes and stains in it. So I'm reusing the yarn and kind of dividing out. There's still stains in it, but they're kind of spread out among the body a little bit more so they don't look as stained. I think the worst of it is actually on the back, and I'm not sure you'll be able to see it. I'll turn around and you tell me if you can see it. But there was some like yellowing, like a yellow stain that kind of got dispersed across the back. So I'm hopeful that you can't see it as much, and since it's on the back, I don't think it will be as obvious, but that's the story with the yarn on this. So I didn't bind off the bottom because I'm a little worried about the amount of yarn I have left. So this sweater was constructed is the front piece was a panel, the back piece was a panel, and then the two sleeves were a panel, and that was the yarn I had to use. So I knit the body with one sleeve and one in the front panel, which is a little lower because it was cut for the front, and so the way that it was constructed, I was basically knitting from like this part of the shoulder down with the yarn from that. And then I got pretty much all the way through the body of this with the body and one sleeve, which is about half the yarn. And then I had to do the ribbing, and the ribbing took more yarn than I was expecting. It took about half of one of the sleeves. So I have only the yarn from the back panel and one sleeve left. So I have that remaining yarn. I've divided into cakes like this. I have 2 cakes for each sleeve. So I'm gonna knit one sleeve, see how far I can get. I have the same amount of yarn for both sleeves. I'm gonna knit one sleeve and see how far I can get with the yarn I have. And then if I need to end up unraveling back, depending on how much yarn I need, I can either make the ribbing shorter, or I can pull all the way back to this section and make this a little bit shorter, because this is not my favorite section in the sweater. I could take, like, there are I think 9 repeats in here. I could take 1 or 2 of those off if I need some more yarn. So that's why I haven't bound off the bottom. I want to do an Italian bind off, and so I don't want to have to unpick it later. So I've basically knit the ribbing to almost as long as I want it, and I'm just leaving it on hold for right now. So that's the story on this sweater. I'm really enjoying it. I like all the different textures. It's been really fun so far. I especially love these crisscross cables. I think they're so fun. I don't love this part, and I especially don't love these, but I just didn't want to have to do the brain power of thinking how to modify it. So I'm just following the pattern, and I still think it will be very cute and cozy. One more thing about this is that I'm knitting the extra small. I'm knitting the size extra small in this, which is supposed to have, I think, 121 centimeter bust circumference. I have a 92 centimeter bust. So that's 20 centimeters of positive ease on the extra small. And then mine is, I think, slightly larger. So I think my circumference is actually 126 centimeters, which puts me at like 25 centimeters of positive ease. That's petite knit territory. So it is quite large. I was initially going to knit the size small. I'm glad I didn't, because I definitely would have run out of yarn. So this is the extra small. It's a very generously sized pattern. I'm not sure if you could size it down, honestly, if you needed it to be smaller than this, because it is quite large, and you can see, like, for a drop, it's covering my t-shirt. Like, that's pretty low drop shoulder. So I don't think I'm actually going to need, I mean, the sleeve itself will only have to be, that's probably like, I don't know, 14 inches of knitting for the sleeve, maybe a little bit more depending on how long I can get the hands to go. So maybe I'll have enough yarn. I'll update you next month, but that's where I'm at on this. It took a good amount of time, even though it is like a thicker yarn and chunkier needles. I think this is an 18 stitch gauge, maybe even larger than that, and I'm knitting it on 4.5 millimeter needles. But just because of the amount of texture and the amount of stitches, it has taken me a little while to get this far. I think I had just started when I showed it to you last month. I think I just started the back. So, I mean, a whole body of a sweater in a month is pretty good, I think. Plus I was finishing that. I only finished my slip over like maybe a week ago. Today is October 2nd. This video will go live on the 3rd. So I think I finished that last week Sunday. So about 8 days ago. And I've been I can't talk today. I've been focusing a lot more on this since I finished that. So I've made some good progress on this. So yeah, that's my Guernsey sweater. That's where it's sitting right now, where I'm sitting with my yarn chicken situation. Hopefully everything will be fine, but I will give you an update next month. I have not made any other modifications to this. I'm knitting it completely to pattern. So yes, that's my Guernsey sweater, which looks really funny right now. And I'm gonna take it off so we can finish this video. I'll hold it up for you. Maybe you can see it a little better this way. So yeah, there's my different textures, the seed stitch at the top, the cables. I did almost want to modify these cables so that they would be woven instead of like lattice like this. So like this one goes under. I kind of wanted the next one to go over, but I just went with it. And then there's the double moss stitch and the cables and the ribbing at the bottom. So yeah, that's that on that. My second work in progress is this, which I'm actually almost done with, and I'll probably honestly finish tonight while I'm editing this video, or tomorrow. Like, this is almost done. And this is actually a new release. This is the August hat by Sari Nordland. Sari Nordland is incredible. She's a very talented designer. If you haven't knit anything from her before, I've knit one thing from her before. I've knit two. I knit her Honko sweater, which is like a really pretty drop shoulder striped sweater that I think I knit back in February. And then I knit her, oh, I don't remember the name of it, but I did a test knit for her in March. It was a pretty sweater with this really long cable panel on the front and on the sleeves. Sari is incredible at cables, and she's incredible at lace. And this is no exception. So this is the August hat. It looks really complex. It's actually not that complex, but I really love it. I especially love these cables here. And then I've never done these kind of cables before. And now that I know what they are, it makes a lot of sense, but they're really cool looking. I'm almost done with this. I've started the crown decreases already, and I can put it on for you. So yeah, it's gonna be kind of tall, but I think it'll be really cute. I was a little worried it was gonna be too big, but it fits actually really comfortably. And yeah, I'm knitting this in some worsted weight yarn. This is some reclaimed yarn. It's like an Irish wool, and then I dyed this with avocado pits back in the spring. I knit a whole sweater out of this yarn. It's my Korshavn sweater by, oh gosh, Strikkekaffe. She is really cute. She has beautiful designs. I knit that sweater like over a year ago now. I think last June I knit that sweater, June or July. So this is the leftovers of that yarn, and I think I'm gonna still have some. This is what I have left, and I think I might even have a little tiny bit left when I finish knitting. So you can put a pom-pom on top of this hat. I'm not always a pom-pom girl, but if I'm trying to use up the yarn, I could potentially put the pom-pom. I'm undecided. I also don't know if I love this color. It is quite close to my skin tone. So I think it could make me look just like kind of eggy if I have it on. I don't know. You tell me if it's like too close to my skin tone and it looks silly and I should dye this again. I can dye it when it's finished, just like drop it in a dye pot and see what color I get. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But I love the cables. It's really fun to knit. It's beautiful. The ribbing is very long and it took forever. I actually did all of this cabling. So from like basically the cabling to here in like 24 hours I've done this. And the ribbing took me several days. So I just don't love knitting ribbing, and I'm not very fast at it. But yes, I'm really happy with this. I'm probably gonna finish it up tonight or tomorrow. It's so pretty. I love the cables. It's been a super quick knit for me. This pattern just came out maybe last week or the week before. And it's really pretty. There's a beautiful version that a tester made in yellow. And I just like, I really need a yellow hat now. Like a really bright, not a bright yellow, but like a pale yellow. Like a lemon bar kind of yellow. I'm just like, I need a hat in a pale yellow now. So stay tuned for that. But yes, this is my August hat. I'm really happy with it. I'm glad that I'm getting to use up this yarn out of my stash, and I'm excited to wear this. It's quite a rustic yarn, so it's gonna be pretty toasty warm. And I just think it's so pretty. Ugh, it's gorgeous. Okay, so that's my second work in progress. I forgot something inside, so I'm gonna go grab it. Okay, sorry for the change of framing. My camera fell, so I had to readjust, but we're back now. Okay, so this is my third work in progress for the month, which I'm going to show you, and then I'm going to frog because it's not turning out how I wanted it to. That's not really the right way to describe it, but anyway. So this is the Musso top, which is a pattern from Espace Tricot, which is free and it's gorgeous, and I am really enjoying it. And I'm knitting this in Hillesvåg Ask, which is a beautiful 100% Norwegian lamb's wool that I bought in Norway in March of this year. So I've done the entire yoke. As you can see, I've done the whole yoke, and the problem is, well, there are two problems. My row gauge is a little short, so I've done the whole yoke, but I think it's too short. It's going to be too tight for me to split for sleeves comfortably. So I would need to knit more rows before I can split for sleeves. My second problem is that I have only 2 skeins of this yarn. I have 2 100-gram skeins, which is about 630 meters of yarn. I thought I had closer to 700 when I cast this on, and then realized later that I did not have that much. And this is supposed to be a long sleeve top, which is what I want. But I just don't think I have enough yarn for that because I've already used more than half of the first ball just on this yoke. And I can put it on for you, I guess, so you can see. It's gonna muffle the microphone, so apologies in advance for that. Okay, hope you can still hear me. This is where, is this even right? I don't think so. I think it's like this. There are some short rows. Here, pull you up a little higher. Sorry, I'm still working with this microphone, still figuring it out. So sorry if the sound is a little wonky this episode. Okay, so this is where I'm at. It's got short rows, so the front is a little lower than the back. But as you can see, that's not gonna be deep enough for a yoke for me. That's like right at my armpits. And I've already used more than half of the first skein, which means I could very easily get a short sleeve top out of this, but that's not what I wanted it to be. So I think I'm gonna frog this and I'm gonna have to use this yarn like either striped or just with another yarn to get a full sweater out of it. I really like this yarn. It's so nice. It's really plump. It's really like rustic, but not scratchy. And I like it with this pattern. I like it at this gauge. I think it's an 18 stitch gauge and this is a sport weight yarn. So it's a looser gauge, but it's not see-through at all. Like you can kind of up here see my shirt through, but not terribly. But I just don't, like, this yoke is not deep enough, and I would have to do probably like, I think when I last weighed the ball, I had about 45 grams left. I'd probably have to do another 5 or 10 grams of yarn just to get the split to a comfortable place. So it would be super cropped, and then I'd have to use, it would either be super cropped or it would just have shorter sleeves than I want. Like if it's gonna have shorter sleeves, I want them to be like here, not here. So that's where I'm at right now. I don't really want to keep going if I'm not going to love the finished project or finished product. So that's where I'm at. I'm a little torn. I'm sad because I really wanted it to be this, but I cannot find this yarn anywhere else. I don't even know the color of it. So I bought this at the Hillesvåg mill in Norway, and it was in the sale section. Like they have an upstairs where there are some like discounted yarns. That's where I got this, and there were only 2 balls, and they don't have a color on them or a dye lot or a number or anything. So I don't even know what color it is. It's this beautiful blue. I really like it, but I don't think I can get any more of it. So I'm just gonna have to find, I think I can either stripe it with something else. Like I could get like a white usk and do like a Breton stripe, which could be really cute. Or I could save this for the springtime and intentionally knit it into a short sleeve shirt. I just don't want to knit it into a, like, hoping it will be long sleeve and then be disappointed when it's not. So I think that's what I'm going to do, is I'm just going to have to wind it back up, or frog it, wind it back up, and just come back to it later. I really enjoy working with this yarn. I like kind of sad that it's not working out. I realized that it wasn't going to work out like a week and a half ago, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll just have to like let it be in the naughty corner for a little bit. But yeah, I think I'm going to frog it, and we'll see what happens with that. So stay tuned. If you have any ideas for what to do with like 630 meters of yarn, there are some really pretty t-shirts, like Knits from Oslo's, I think it's the Stockholm tee or the Oslo tee is really pretty. It's just like a very standard t-shirt. It's Park Knits. I think her name is Park Lee. I don't remember what her name is. Summer Park, something like that. But Park Knit has a really cute t-shirt, just like a cap sleeve kind of like basic t-shirt like this, a knitted version that's really cute. I don't really want to knit this into a rib lace raglan, which it could work as, but I don't know about that. So if you have any ideas for like 600-ish, I want it to be a garment also. I don't want it to be a shawl. I want it to be a sweater or a top. So if you have any ideas for like 600-ish meters of yarn, let me know, because I don't want to hold it with mohair. That's another thing. I want the yarn to shine as it is. So those are my parameters. Let me know if you have any pattern suggestions. I would love to hear what you have to say. Okay, so we're really losing the light now, and that's all my works in progress and my finished objects. But I did want to talk to you a little bit about my knitting plans for October. So I've been feeling a little less mojo-y than normal. I didn't knit as much in September as I have before because one, I was sick at the beginning of the month, which is why my last month video was quite late in the month. It was like, I think I usually try to post on the 1st. This is going up on the 3rd, but last month it was like on the 7th or the 8th. That was because the week before that I had COVID, and so I wasn't really knitting much. I've had a lot of wrist pain this month, so I haven't been able to knit a whole lot, and that's just kind of drained my mojo a little bit. So I was just trying to decide, like, I don't know what I want to cast on next. And then I was thinking that I do have quite a few projects in my stash, like finished items that I like, but they just need a small tweak. Like there's something wrong with them. And I grabbed a couple of them to show you so I can talk you through. So my plan for October is to like dedicate my knitting practice to fixing things that are not quite perfect. And so that's why I wanted to do a little kind of like very gentle, very casual knit along with you all in case you have the same thing, because I love my knitwear and I like these pieces a lot, but I think I would like them more if I took the time to change them and fix them and make them right, instead of like always trying to make new things and having things in my wardrobe that I like but aren't perfect. So I will talk to you about what that means. But anyway, that's what I'm inviting you to do with me in the month of October. We can call it like the fall Fixalong. I thought that would be fun. And there are just a couple of things that I've worked on that need a little bit of a change. So this one you might recognize if you watched me for a little while. I made this in the spring. This is sweater number 11 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it's really nice. I like it a lot. It's knit in like this reclaimed yarn that I got that's like wool and angora and cashmere, and it's like super luxurious and soft. The only thing is that the sleeves are a little too short. So because this is a drop shoulder design, it's kind of hard to gauge the sleeves, and I knit this like bang on to pattern, but the sleeves are just a little bit short on me. They come up to like right here at my wrist with the ribbing. And I like my sleeves to fit more like at the joint of my thumb, just because I find it a little more comfortable. And I find when I'm wearing this, I'm pulling on the sleeves all the time to make them a little bit longer. And because this is a drop shoulder, it has this detailing on the shoulder, it kind of pulls tight on my shoulders and it's just uncomfortable. So in order to make me like this more, in order for me to wear it more, I just need to knit a little bit more length in the sleeves, like 2 more inches, and it would be perfect. So that is one of the things I'm going to do this month. I also need to fix the collar. I don't love it, and it's kind of like you can see here that it's a little bulkier on this side than this side. I didn't knit it down super well, and I think I might just make it not double folded. I think I might just do it single folded with an Italian bind off. I think I would like that more. So that's the changes I need to make to this. This is one of the main ones. The other one is another pattern I knit this year. This is the Rubus Blouse square neck by Knits from Oslo. By Refined Knitwear. And I also really like this top. It's so cute. It's knit in an unspun yarn that's from White Buffalo. I love it. It's beautiful. It fits really nicely, but the sleeves are too long. Like if you look at this, the sleeve, and if I fold it in half, it's kind of comically obvious. Like the sleeves are a significant portion of this, and they hit really low on my arm, like right here. And I think I just need to bring them up like an inch or 2. So that would be even easier. It's just frogging and re-knitting this I-cord edging. Like that should be super, super simple. I also think I want to add a little bit of length to the body and then do a folded hem instead of an I-cord bind off. So I have yarn to do that. I can do that. It should be fine. It's getting really dark now, so I'm trying to hurry. So that's my plan for this. Gotta fix that. Like none of these projects should take me very long, but it's just like I need the motivation to actually do it. So that's that. The other thing are these socks, which I knit maybe last fall or this spring, winter sometime. And I really like them. They're a DK weight sock and they're really comfy, but they're too short. And I even added length to them and they're still too short. So I need to add some more length to them. Before I tried to like cut, so I didn't want to have to redo the toe decreases. I cut, knit, and then grafted it back together. I think this time I'm actually just going to pull back the toe decreases and knit the foot a little longer. They need to be like an inch longer. They're just too short on the foot. So that's the plan for these. I'm sure I'll find other things as I'm digging through my knitwear that I need to fix. But that's my plan for October. So I'm very happy to invite you to do that with me, the fall fix along. I think it will be really fun. And it's just like a little, if you also need a little push to fix some of your knitwear that you love, but it's not quite perfect, let's all make our knitwear perfect together. It's a way to make what we have sustainable and to make it enjoyable. And it's not going to be that hard. It's just taking the time to do it. That's the hard part. So feel free to join me in that. We can do a comment on Instagram or a hashtag on Instagram. We can also, I'll put a Ravelry thread up for us for the fall fix along. I'd love to hear if there are any projects that you guys need to fix so that they're perfect for you to wear as you're going into fall and winter. So yeah, that is it for me today. I know it's getting really dark, so I've got to wrap this up, but thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed talking with you. I would love to hear your suggestions on pattern designs for my Esk yarn. I'd love to hear what kind of projects you're working on and what, if you're going to join us in the fall fix along, what you want to fix, what's wrong with it and how you plan to fix it. Be great. I just think it's a great way for us to get better use out of what we have. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you're new, please subscribe. It'd be great to have you here, and please give this video a thumbs up if you can. It helps other people find my channel. Please feel free to share my channel on Instagram or with your friends, so more people can join us in this fun little community that we're building. And thanks again, everyone, for watching. It's great to have you. I love chatting with you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.